Good morning. Tickled to death you showed back up. We're gonna finish up part 2 of this 2002 F-150. Getting all of our new parts put on, crossing our fingers, hoping all this stuff works. We're getting an early start. You can see the sun just poking up above the mountain. So I'm glad you showed up. Hopefully you enjoyed part 1. We're gonna finish this thing up in this part. Welcome to this episode in the garage. What better place to start than this thing right here sitting all in our face. Go ahead and pull this throttle body off and replace the gasket up under it. You know, while it's all in our teeth. Go ahead and pop our fuel rails off. Out here. Get out of there. Truck. Let's go ahead and I'm just going to knock these out. It will just make me feel better if I go ahead and clean it up and reseal it. Because if I go through the trouble putting this intake back in and it leaks from right there, woo! Because you cannot get to these bolts with that intake in the truck. And I would be some more kind of pissed off to have to turn right back around and pull this back out. You could understand my frustration. Man, am I not glad that I pulled that off just to make sure the whole back part of this seal where this rubber gasket goes, the whole back part of it's broke out all the way down into the bottom and goes back that way. That's where our water was coming from. Same thing over here. The whole back side of it's broke out, chipped out on the bottom down here. So that is junk. Well, that's crappy news. And then on the other side, that's really good news that I found that. Man, like I said earlier, golly bum, how bad would that have sucked to put that back on and find out you didn't fix the water leak. So made a couple of calls, found one, and seeing how my Chariot is broke down because, well, the intake's sitting right here. They're gonna deliver it for me here shortly. So until then, I guess I'm gonna go ahead and clean up all these bolts and all that stuff and get them ready to go back on. I can't really do any videoing until the guy calls me back because he's going to take all my information and then I'll pay for it over the phone with him. And if I'm videoing, my phone won't ring. So I'll get this stuff cleaned up and then I'll bring you back when we're ready to hit the go button again. All right. Let's see if we can get these new gaskets. See that little tab right there? We got another one over here right there. That's going to play a crucial role here momentarily, and I'll show you what that is if you don't know. But you can use those, if you know what they're for, to line up your gasket and get it turned the right direction. Alright, I'm going to get all this put together, and we'll see if we can't get these things installed.
Someone say, never gonna let me out. Like a stone that's rolled away, seasons change, then you hear me shout. Listen to the wind, it carries songs, friends long gone. Listen as the grace, speaking strange cliches. Think of your own ways and write them down in a song. There's a better way. There's an easier way, I know. Will light shine no more? This time I've closed the door. People shout way out loud. We're not gonna take this anymore.
appreciate it.
Well,
Getting me out of a jam. Thank you, sir.
you're welcome. You have a good day.
You too. Be careful. All right, guys, y'all remember I was telling you about the little checkered pads on the bottom of your valve cover gaskets? This right here is what they're for. Anytime you have an engine that has a front engine cover, meaning, what I mean is the head ends right here, and then your front engine cover to the rest of your engine starts right here. So you need to put silicone right here and down there at the edge of the engine cover, and the same over here. That way it helps ensure you don't have a leak in those two spots, and you don't have them on the back. I just wanted to point that out. I also wanted to point out just how clean the inside of this engine is. Diesel oil. So we finally got our valve covers in. Now would be a good time to go ahead and put our knock sensor in. If you'll notice, I went ahead and put some glass tape around that. Your flat side goes down. Put you back out of here, out of the way. That looks like a pretty good spot. You know, put a little click about right there. All right. Go ahead and plug this jewel in. Let's see, where do you go? Just like so. That'll work. And that goes straight out the back. Alright. Speaking of, I might go ahead and throw a little bit of tape on that. See ya. Get this out of here. See ya. Do. Okay. So I'm taking it that this part of the intake, I'm guessing I don't reuse, which I am cool with. Just less I gotta do. So I reckon, I guess, we'll just start with the injectors. Put a little bit of O-ring grease on there. Remember, this one was the one that's turned a little weird. Truck a mixture, fuel pump. And we can't forget to do all the other stuff that has to be done before we put this intake on. You know what I mean? We can't, get all slap happy with our new part and forget to do something. One of the neat things about this intake is it comes with rubber O-ring gaskets already mounted in it. Unlike the original, you have to try to hold that thing still while putting your intake on, so that's pretty handy, pretty nifty. But there's going to be a whole lot of the bolts, original bolts, that we don't use. This intake doesn't have metal inserts in all the bolt holes like the original. They use self tappers, which I guess is fine. Wish I had known that. I wouldn't have spent all that time cleaning up the old bolts. Make sure it's not got any of the old O-rings in it. I don't see any. Go ahead and get this put on. Something like so. I want to add a little bit of pressure to this before I tighten it down. Same with this one. The only, I was talking about metal inserts. The only bolts that have the metal inserts are up there for the throttle body. Even the coils have the self tappers, which I guess is okay. Man, it sure would be easy to over tighten them though. All right, Water. Come on, get over there. Yeah, hold your hand up. Alright, so we've got our water pipe in there. You can see. Oh, while I get situated, water pipe right here. You didn't miss anything. I just put it on the little spout that sticks through the bottom of the valley. Now, there's a whole lot going on back here, a lot, with no room. So you remember those studs? I'll show you one real quick. You got two of them. You want to put one in, the one that holds your ground. You want to go ahead and put it in, because if you'll notice on the end of this water pipe, it's open. So we want to use that to our advantage and slide that over the top of it, just like so. And now we can go ahead and screw this one, the big stud, in, just this one top one. If I can find my 10mm right there. Now guys, if y'all don't have a straight 10mm ratchet wrench, this is going to be just about impossible. I'll put our ground right here for now. Slide this over the end of the stud. And go ahead and tighten this one up. And we don't want to lock it down because we still have to find the hole for this bottom part of the tube. So we'll just snug it. And then we'll attempt to put this bottom one on. I don't know how close we'll be. We might be right dead on the money. We are. Isn't that something? All right, now we can go ahead and lock both of these down, because we're done with that part. You don't want to skimp on this back here, because those studs, let me get this wiring harness out of the way so I can get the wrench off. These studs hold tension on this pipe this way because this pipe has water pressure on it. It comes directly off the water pump. So you don't want to skimp on any of this back here. All right. Now, there is a metal frame or a guide. It clamps and holds a wiring harness in place. When I say you ain't got no room, that's exactly what I mean. All right, now, you see that hole in this guard right here? I mean this, I guess wiring harness clamp, I guess is what you call it. It goes over the top of that small stud, just like that. And then you have another one, just like it, on the top. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and put one nut here, just to keep it from coming back off. Don't drop the nut. All right, now we got to get this one up and on top of this post. I can't see the hole. You move. Is that the hole? I believe I just got it on accident. Just sort of fell in place. Now see, it holds this wiring harness in place, and then this part of your wiring harness goes inside that hole right there, just like so. Now your ground goes on top of that post. Just like so. And then you get your other nut. Don't drop the nut, for Pete's sake. And when I say you got no room, that is exactly what I mean. You've got just enough room to screw that stud out before it hits the firewall. That's all the room you got. All right, you're gonna need a straight 10mm ratchet wrench as well. Good and tight. Where are you at? Right there. I'm just screwing this nut up here tight hot because that way my ratchet will actually work. Yep. All right. Now, everything is copacetic. We'll put our access wire right there. That way it don't do no rubbing anymore. All right. This goes to a heater hose. So while the intake is out of the way, we'll go ahead and put that on. Leave this heater hose. Just like so. Just like that. Should be tight enough. Now we'll go ahead and put our thermostat in. O-ring. You have to go ahead and put these bolts in as well. So we've got our intake tightened down, torqued in sequence. By torque, I mean click.
Today seems like yesterday, hopefully not tomorrow. And it feels like sometimes it's always on a borrow, yeah. Walking a straight line ain't easy today. And I know this, cause I wake some mornings and say, man, I didn't like yesterday.
Alright, let's see if we can
I
cipher
still not be. Gotta get up,
where
gotta
all
get
these
out.
plugs
Find me a paper right house. You go walk in my shoes and you'll see. Take a look at my world. Then you can say, man, I didn't like yesterday, no.
Dinner's gonna be ready in like 15 minutes.
Okie dokie.
But I look for the day when I can smell the warm summer air. Common problems wash over me and leaves gray in my hair. Some people look and they laugh at me, yeah. But maybe tomorrow will set me
Alright, let's see if we can get these fuel lines plugged in. If I can find a good place to stand without getting in your way. Which one do I have here? That's the big one. Get our emergency plug, or emergency clip, rather. Now, why ain't you clipping? That should not just slide back off. There it went. Yep. All right, now we can see if we can get our belt on here. We're closing in on the finish line, fellers and fillettes. Ow, that was my finger. Ow, stop it. There it goes. trick is to keep it on the pulleys down there while you put this thing on. Yes, yes, maybe, yes. Maybe, possibly. No, no, no. This is not gonna go easy. I was hoping it would, but it is not. All right, you're around that. Man alive. Of course, we'll be around here where I can't get to you. Never in my life I had to crawl just to get to a freaking clamp. I take that back. If you've ever put a lower radiator hose on one of these, then you feel my pain. Get up here. Never see that again. Don't even know what it was. And it looks like we're fixing to get rained back out. Surprise. Summertime in Tennessee. Thank you. That little jewel right there was all kinds of in the way. Where it goes. Son of a gun. A chair about. Look there how that works. Isn't that something? Alright, let's put some Rotella T4 in this thing. Well, there ain't but two things left to find out. One, does it run? And two, does it leak? Let's find out. gonna do it for this video. Man, this took a long time, but it does run and I don't see no leaks. We're gonna give it a while, sit here and relearn itself. Seeing how that computer's been unplugged for 3 days now. So we'll let her sit here and idle, heat up, go through a heat cycle, add water, check the oil, make sure everything's good, then we'll take it for a test drive. If y'all made it this far, man, I greatly appreciate it. If you haven't already, hit that thumbs up button, hit your bell notification. That way you are notified every time I release new content. If you're not already, while you're hitting that bell notification, it means you already hit that subscribe button. I appreciate it greatly. Till next time, y'all go do some work.